Now that we've learned how to emboss a label using the 6-key entry method, let's learn how to emboss one when you're using your USB device. So the first thing you're going to need to do is obviously turn on the unit, which I already have, and that's positioning that switch away from you on the side, on that right side. The second thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to connect your USB keyboard using the included USB to micro USB cable. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug our unit, our USB keyboard, into our included cable here. And as you can see, it's got this micro USB on the end. And what we're going to do is we're going to flip our unit to the side, and we're going to be careful not to touch any of the buttons because it's turned on. You do not have to have it turned on at this point. You may want to wait actually to turn it on until after you have plugged in the USB and the micro USB as well. But that's, you know, a personal decision. It doesn't matter which order you do it in. Okay, there we go. So now I'm connected, and I have a USB keyboard over here, but I'm not going to show you it because I'm pretty sure you know what it looks like. But take my word for it. I'm going to step over here and I'm going to enter my first name. And now it's going ahead and processing that. And when it stops is when I'm going to press that cut button. And there it is. So here's my cut button. And it's going to eject that label. Here we go. See? It says Amy. Now, the next thing that you're going to need to know is sometimes when you connect your USB keyboard to the unit, it needs to be kind of reminded that it's there, which seems kind of weird. But so what I a lot of times will do is press a space bar before I begin typing the label if I notice that it's sluggish or that it isn't picking up the keystrokes I'm entering on my USB keyboard. One thing I think is important to note is if you are entering text on a USB keyboard, it does not come out in contracted Braille. It's only going to extract what you input. So in the case of my last name, if I were to enter it on the keyboard, and you know what, I'll go ahead and do that. So capital S-N-O-W. Oh, and here's a perfect example of when this kind of thing happens. So I'm just going to hit the space bar here. Okay, so now I'm going to type my last name. Okay, and it'll take a second for it to emboss. And I, obviously could not enter contractions on the USB keyboard. And when I hear it stop, I'm going to go ahead and hit the cut button, which, here we go. There we go. And pulling it out, as you can see, S-N-O-W, it is not contracted. You can't really see the space that I entered before here either, just as an FYI. So if you are going to need contracted Braille on a label, you're going to want to enter it with the 6-key entry method.